Hey guys, I'm Brady Burge and I am an independent prover with the amazing company Pruvit. And today I wanted to go over with you guys on how I track my customers, my promoters, my prospects, a way to keep people organized. I'm not an organized person, so I needed something that was going to keep me sane instead of being in my Facebook Messenger or in my notebook trying to find someone to talk to, or who did I need to follow up with. So I stumbled across Streak a couple years ago and started implementing it. And I really enjoy being able to have a place where I can get in here, follow up with people, change some dates around, move people through a system, and be able to keep a relationship with someone in an organized way. So I highly recommend Streak. If you're using pen and paper, that's awesome, but keep somehow a follow-up. Just keep doing something that is going to make sure that you're following up with people on a timely basis. So with Streak, you need to have Chrome on your computer. Also, you need to have a Gmail account. And all you have to do is go to www.streak.com and download the application, and it will show up here in your Google. So here's your Streak account here. When you download Streak, it's going to create a pipeline for you, which is going to be over here on the left-hand side. And that's what we're going to start with. So also, side note, this is actually a mobile app as well. So if you're running around and it's so busy and you just need to get someone into your Streak application, that way you can get them in here and make sure that they're there for future reference. It's so easy. I know that I get stuck sometimes. I'm talking to people on Facebook, or I'm out talking to somebody at the grocery store or wherever, and I make friends with them. I want to make sure I get them in as soon as possible so I don't forget them. I am a squirrel brain and I love thinking of 1,000 things at once. So once they're there in front of me, I want to make sure they're in. So with the pipeline, you're going to start off with that very first. And in order to start, you need to create one. I actually have 3 that I have work on, and that is my prospects, my customers, and my promoters. It's super simple, super easy. And all you have to do is push this new button, and that's what's going to create your very first pipeline. So I choose Sell and CRM because it's just a really good template to start off with. Just keep that. I do shared just in case I have someone in the future that I want to work with me. I love the idea of outsourcing information, or not outsourcing information, but outsourcing work that would be something that would be easy follow-up. I actually have my husband that works with me and he helps me with this. So having a shared account may be beneficial to you. You can also choose private. So now I'm creating my pipeline. This is your shell. This is your shell that you're going to keep everybody in and moving through with their information and moving them through a workflow, right? So keeps you up on top of what you're doing for the day. It's just so nice once you have people in here that you can sit down. If you have an hour, if you have 30 minutes, you know exactly what you need to do. First off, we're going to rename this pipeline in order for you guys to have something for your own. So we don't want sales and CRM. My very first one that I create is prospects. You can call it whatever you want. All right, so there, your pipeline is created. Now we need to change our stages, which are here and here. These are corresponding, and then our columns. The stages are what you're gonna move people through, your workflow, your pipeline, whatever you wanna call it, your filing system. That is what a stage is. The columns are what you're collecting from, the information from your customers. What are those things that you need to learn from them? I already have a couple created over here, test ones for you guys to check out. And in order for us to kind of go through this, I'm going to show you how to rename, and then I'm going to pop over into my templates here that I can show you how I created. So the very first thing you're going to do in your pipeline is create the different stages. And you might even want to think, okay, what is my stage that I start off with? I start off with connecting with people. So maybe it's, I'm talking to them on Facebook, I'm talking to them on Instagram, I met them at the grocery store, I met them at a party. Those are all folks that I'm going to be placing inside of this connecting. And then I'm going to move them through my pipeline. So I'm going to move them, next stage would be, once I've got a relationship started with them, I'm going to connect them with the ketone conversation. All right. And then I'm going to send them the campfire video. All right, see how these are corresponding with these up here? You can either double click and change the names here, or you can go up into the wheel and rename the stage. You actually can change the colors to wherever you want. Again, I would just say, get them in here, get the folks in here. Don't worry about colors and changing things around unless you need to, unless you have a certain amount of time. I always say move your business forward first and then create the creative afterwards. So if I wanted to rename the stage up here, send 5 or 10 day invoice, and so on and so forth. I'm going to show you everything that I use on my stages in a second. So the next step would be is to name your columns. The columns are kind of tricky. Those are the only thing that I would say is probably the most intense involved. So I'm going to go over into my templates here and show you how I create them. But first, when you have your stages here or you have your columns, I would go ahead and delete everything out and start fresh. So deal size, we don't need that. Delete that out of there. The name, we know we're going to need name. Stage, you cannot delete, and I'll show you that in a second why. I don't need close date. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete the lead source. Delete. I'm going to delete this contacts and organizations. I actually use notes so you can keep notes. Assign to, you don't really need that. And data last email, don't really need that. So you're going to leave it at this, and then I'm going to show you how you can name your columns. So let's pop over in here. So that's kind of your very base on how to start your pipeline, how to create a pipeline. All right, so I'm going to go into our prospects, and this is what I use. This is my flow. You can use your flow. You can do whatever you want, but make it yours. Okay, so this is a starting spot. If you don't have anything, feel free to use it. Take a screenshot right now and, fill it in later. So here we've got the connecting. Have you heard of ketones? Campfire video. All of this, all the way down to sent product link. I have everyone stay in my prospects pipeline until they actually purchase from my website, and then they move to customers. And I'm going to show you how to move people through and all of that stuff right after I create these columns. So now we already have our name column. That's already there. And we're going to go and create the email. So I like to collect emails because I do send out an email to all of my new customers and all my new prospects about the how-to guide, the hacker's guide. I do send the hacker's guide with my packages, but I want another way to contact somebody. I want another avenue. Somebody maybe likes email. Maybe they like that print that's in the packages. I want to cover my bases. So that's an email there. Now, how to create them. So you can go in here and either click at the very end, this little plus sign, or you can go down here and right next to name, you can, or use the drop down for the name, and you can insert a new column, which is going to go to the right of it. So I think about 4 of these. I use freeform, I use date, I use drop down, and I use tag. So those are all different kinds of columns that you can create. It's what's going to happen within those columns. Feel free to do some Googling and find out what the rest of these do, but those are the 3 or 4 that I use. So email is going to be freeform. So you're going to click on freeform and you're going to type in email and done, okay? I'm going to go in here and delete this just so we keep a workflow here. You can move these guys around by kind of moving them with the little hand. Again, you can do that with the stages up here as well. So if I wanted to move this one over here, I can. Or if I want to delete it, you can push the little wheel and delete it. So next, last contact. Now these 2 right here are date columns. So last contact, I like to know the very last time I spoke to them. So maybe I'm speaking to them in Facebook. I do a lot of social media. So I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of them because Facebook Messenger can delete any minute. Follow-up. My follow-up dates are when people, maybe they're going on vacation or maybe they're going to get paid on Friday and they want that link then. So I want to know that I need to follow up with them. Not everybody's going to have a follow-up date. So I'm going to show you kind of an example here on after I create this date column. So insert new column, date, and so I'm just going to put date, but whatever you want to track, right? So now the really cool thing is all I have to do is get in here and click. double click and the date of the calendar is going to pop up. So easy to get in here. Maybe I need to, maybe today, I'm talking to her today, and then I need to follow up with her in a week. All right, so those are my last contacts and my follow-up dates. So that's a date column. Now, the next will be notes, and that's carried on from our CRM sales one, which notes is where I put in somebody's Instagram handle. Maybe I met them at a birthday party. Maybe they need to lose 10 pounds. Maybe they have PCOS. Maybe there's some things in there that I want to know. I need to send them some more information on, or any of that stuff. So notes is very broad. What I typically do is I'll type in the date. So say I met Tara at a party on October 1st. If you hit enter, it's cleared. But if you want to double click back in, shift enter allows you to type another column. So I typically will type in, so maybe 10-2, sent info, sent a friend request, I don't know. Whatever you want to keep track of, whatever you feel like you need to keep track of. But you have to remember, shift enter will keep those going down. And so if you push enter, it's just going to end up the, oops, maybe not, maybe not. I'm going to click out of that. Maybe it's making me a liar. All right, so there's notes. The next one over, it's a trial type purchased. So I'm going to show you how to move people through our workflow. And at this point, Tara is going to be down here at sent the invoice. So I know that she wants an invoice. Once she purchases, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to have a trial type purchase. I want to know what she purchased. So the trial type and the interest tabs are the interest tabs or columns are tabs. So that's another type of column. So insert new column and then press tag. So tags are, you can make as many tabs as possible. So with the trial type purchased, you get in here and say, I named that trial type purchased, and it's 5-day. I do original and I also do max, so I do OG. And then you just type it in and push this plus in order for it to keep, okay? Next thing, maybe Jerry is gonna buy a 10-day. So you just type in the 10-day OG and create the tab. You can put 2. Maybe Tara wants a 10-day as well. Who knows? You know, maybe she's come back for a second round. So those are the types. Just something I like to keep track of, because once she gets down to my purchase, I want to know in here what she's doing, because then I'm going to move her to my purchase 5 or 10 days where I start creating my packages. So I've got what package they purchased. I know what their email is. I know what their address is, which is down here further in the columns, which is a freeform column. So it's another freeform column. So I'll finish that up by saying that's freeform. The stage does not move. So like I was saying, once it's down here in my mailed and delivered, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that that matches what I need to be sending out. And then she's going to move from how-to guide, and that's where I need their email addresses. I love collecting emails because I want to be able to keep giving value to my customers. So maybe there's a recipe I want to send out. Maybe there's something else I want to send out to her. Maybe there's a sale coming up. So that would be a perfect time to do it. Okay, so now that is how to create all of your columns. Get in there, play around. Maybe there's a couple other ones in here that you are interested in. There is one that I do for Smart Ship customers, which is a drop down, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It works just like your tabs, but you just get in here and you create yes as an option, or no as an option. Now, when I go in, I can either click yes or no. It's not one where I can do more than one. So I also wanted to point out interest before we move on. Interests are things that maybe they wanted Blue Ocean. Maybe there's a sale coming up. Maybe they are interested in promoting. Maybe they're in your local area. Maybe it's something that you want to be able to know that once that Blue Ocean sale comes about, I can come in here and I can sort by Blue Ocean and be able to bring them up and be able to contact everybody that was interested in Blue Ocean. So it's a really good way to track those that are interested in something that way when you're talking to somebody and they've mentioned, okay, I want some Blue Ocean, or maybe you made a post on Facebook and it was about Blue Ocean. They've mentioned they like it, or, oh my gosh, I would love to have some of that. You get in here, you type them in, you type their interest in here, right? So when Blue Ocean comes out, you know exactly those first people that most likely are ready to purchase, or interested in getting it, and that way they can get that all set up for you. So that is a really good, I love using that one as well. So here we go. Now, how do you get people in here? That's the very last thing that you really need to know. And in order to get folks in here, you go over here to this plus sign. Now you have to make sure you're in the right stage in order to add them in, or they'll pop into the wrong one. So just make sure you're highlighting the stage that you want them in. So I want them in connecting. I'm going to add the plus, and let's say Hyla Smith. All right. So I'm connecting with somebody, probably don't have their email yet, right? My last contact was the 5th. The follow-up date I want to do in maybe a couple of days. Maybe I don't even have notes for her. Maybe it's just somebody I'm speaking to on Facebook. Typically, if they're not on Facebook, I have a note in here. So if they're in Instagram, I'm putting their handle in here. You can put their Facebook URL in here. However you want to do it to keep track of where people are at. But typically, if I'm out meeting somebody, I'm probably going to friend request them just so I have them in Facebook. So here we are going to start moving someone through the pipeline. In order to do that, you can either use the stage. That's why they won't allow you to actually delete these. You can double click here and move them through their stages here. So connecting, the Have You Heard of Blue Oceans? You're going to see her move. Move. Why is it going? Okay, so it must have been a little glitch. So you can also switch, like you just saw. I'm going to be able to double click into this little thing here, and that is what they call the box. That's their box. All of their information is here, ready for you at your handle, you know, just ready to go. I like to use this one, so I'll get in here, and when I'm blocked out my time to get in and follow up with folks, I will go in here and just use this arrow and go through people of where they're at in the conversation, if I need to talk to them again, what's going on with them. So with Kyla, she's at the Have You Heard Ketones. You know, I've sent them a message on Have You Heard Ketones. I sent her a text. However, she responds, I get her the campfire video, and she moves down. And then after the campfire video, I follow up with her, and she wants a 5 or 10 day. And then I click that. This is at the stage where you're gonna, well, for me, nobody moves out of the campfire video until they've either purchased or told me they don't want any. They will stay there until my fingers fall off. You know, I want to keep following up with them, because to me, I feel like I'm not being annoying. I have something here that I think can really help somebody, and I want to make sure that they understand that I care about them. It's not just a sale. I want to make sure that they know that I'm going to keep following up with them, because I care that they do have something better in their life. I have something better that can help them move their life a little bit forward, and maybe they've shown interest, and I want to make sure that I'm not just ignoring them, because people are busy, guys. People are busy. I know I am, and I don't even have kids, so I can only imagine the moms and dads out there, so, or a full-time job. So then we move people through here. The next stage would be they purchase a 5 or 10 day. Now, I've already sent them the invoice. The invoice is sitting there waiting. I know now, I know to follow up with people. You know, I have people sitting in my invoices, and they're people who have not purchased. They have not hit that purchase button yet, or they have not paid their invoice. I know I have this list of people I need to follow up with every day until it gets paid. So once they purchase, they get into this box. And now I can actually type in what trial package they purchased. So it's just that tag. And then their address is going to be here, because I'm going to have that from my invoicing system. And then I'm also going to ask what their email is. And in my invoicing system, it does include a spot for emails, because I'm going to then, after I mail it or deliver it, I'm going to actually in the notes section put their delivery date or their tracking number. After I deliver that out, I'm going to actually move them into this how-to for 5 or 10 day purchases. I actually have an email that I send out to everybody. That way I know it keeps me responsible to keep getting everybody's email addresses, because I feel like email is a very stable way to keep track of people, and they can, Facebook can delete messages any minute now. So having someone's email is crucial in my opinion. So a cool thing about that is all I have to do is, now that I'm ready to send her the how-to guide, instead of creating an email every time, all I have to do is click on her name, and I've created this little, or I've downloaded this little app called Snippets, and I just have to click in here, and I've created templates. There's a YouTube video I'm sure out there that you can find on how to do these, and then you just have to go in here and organize and just get an email in here, just the one email that you send everybody, if you do send one to people. I also use this for if I want to send out sales and things like that. So, or recipes or tips or anything like that. All right, so maybe she's ready for that getting started right guide, and I just have to get in here and type her name. Hey, Kyla, and I'm gonna send. So now her email is done and I'm good to go. Sweet. All right. So she will not move out of here until she has purchased a full package for me, until she becomes a customer off of my website. She is going to be a prospect until then. So after she does the how to purchase guide, I will be following up with her immediately after she gets her. I'll set a follow-up date on, I do believe I follow it up. When I bring back the receipt, it shows me when they're going to get it. So I follow up the day after they get it. So I want to make sure that they know I know that they got it, that they did get it, what flavor they're going to try first, make sure that they contact me as soon as they're done. And that way I know I can cover any questions that they have. And then after she does purchase a new package, or when she goes to my website, she's going to move pipelines. And now I'm going to show you guys how to do a separate pipeline. All right, so now we've created, let me go over what we've done. We've created prospects pipeline. We've created our stages in the prospects. We've created our columns in the prospects. We now understand how to create a box that holds our prospects. And now we know how to move people in and out, up and down the prospects, or the funnel here, up and down the stages themselves. Outside of that, this is pretty much your base that you're going to work with. Now, in order for the information that is in somebody's box, so Tara's name, email, last contact, follow-up date, notes, trial type purchase, for all of that to follow with her, it needs to be the very same in the next pipeline. So I always teach my downline to create their first pipeline as prospects first, and then you can go down here and create similar pipeline. So what's going to happen with this is now all of those folks, or all of those names in the columns, are going to move with them. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for you guys to move people through without it giving you a hassle. So let's show you this. So now I'm going to move over to my prospects, or my customers. So what you're going to do is you're now going to take this, rename this to your customers, and then you're going to change all the stage names to these, or whatever you use. You can do, typically a new customer is someone who just purchases straight from our website, and then I have to make sure I get them the welcome email. Most of my folks have welcome emails because they've done the 5 or 10 day packages. So I will keep them in here until they get their packages, and then I send them a how are you feeling email. And then a renewal email was before we had the Smart Ship giving information about it through their email. But I can also send, maybe there's a recipe or an electrolyte talk or something, like some sort of other email I can put in here. These are constantly changing for me. The columns have constantly changed for me. I've only been doing this in a couple of months. I'm still trying to get, what am I following through? What am I doing? But don't let the stop you. So just get them in here, and then you'll start changing things around once you start getting comfortable with what you want to be sending people and why you're using it. And maybe there's some things that you just don't want to track anymore, and you're done with it, right? So now you've created your customer pipeline. So we can now switch people over from your prospects to the customers. So it's a different pipeline. We want to make sure that we have a different workflow for our customers than our prospects, right? I like to have them separate. I guess you could have all one, but I like being able to move them and separate them, right? So in order to move someone over, let's see, Kyla. So Kyla is now purchased, right? She's going to purchase from my website. I got the notification that she purchased, and now I'm going to move her over to the customers. So all you have to do is go over here and go move box and then to customers. All right, so remember how I was telling you that if you have a column that's not spelt the same, or I mean, it's even down to capitals or not capitals in the columns themselves, it won't move that information over. So make sure it says you're moving one box from test prospects to customers. If it just has that, then all the information is going to move with her. If there's a box missing, then it's going to tell you if it's missing. So it's really good. It's nice of a little catch, but let's move her over. All right, so now she's in the customer stage. I can actually go back and show you. So now she's showing up over here in our customer pipeline. Okay, so there's Kyla. And then we can move her through the pipeline just like we did over in the prospects. There's a couple different things I do here. So in the customers, I actually have SmartShip like I was showing you guys. It is a drop down instead of a tag. You just have to say, all right, she is doing SmartShip, because I like to keep track of that as well, just because I want to be able to reward those folks who are on SmartShip and be able to follow up with those people who are on SmartShip. And also, if they're not on SmartShip, to be able to reach out to them and let them know the benefits of having a SmartShip. So obviously, those are changing constantly. So it's something I have to stay on top of, but it's not something you have to track. It's just something I like to track. It does make it a little bit more work for me, but in the long term, I feel like it's customer service on my end, and I want to keep track of it. Now, say with the customers, you don't want to see all of these things that you brought over from prospects. You don't necessarily need to know their trial type purchased, but maybe in the future you want to know. Maybe it was, man, she didn't like the I don't know, the Maui Max, but she did have it in the trial pack and never said anything. I don't know. There's maybe some reason that you would want to keep it. But you can keep it, but you don't have to see it all the time. You can just get over here and hide this column, right? So that way you can hide them. It doesn't disappear. You just have to click on here, but it does show up in her box. So when you click inside her box, it's there. So see, SmartShip, initial order, trial type purchase, everything's there. All right. Let's see what else. Now, say Kyla is now wanting to be a promoter. So we're going to move her over to promoters. All of these things I don't have the same, so you want to make sure that you're moving them over. But for me, SmartShip is not something important. I don't really need to know the trial type at this point. The initial order date, not really, because that's going to change when she moves and becomes a promoter. I'm going to change that date. So I'm now moving her over to the promoters, and you can either click up here or you can click down here. And there she is. And then I move her through my promoter tabs, and maybe she needs her welcome email sent. Maybe she's in training, and there's different stages up here that I have. I've added her to the Facebook TA page. What are her interests? Maybe there's different interests here, and announcements announced, achievements announced. I've sent her the fast start video. I have an address for her because I like sending out little gifts. All of these things are important, but they are going to be changing. As the further I grow, I'm sure things are going to morph into other things. So be just malleable. It's not something that has to stick the same every single time. So that is all of that there. Now, I have a couple other things that I wanted to share with you guys, but let's see. I have some notes. So yes, mass mailing. So say I have a couple people here. And this is something that when you have a lot of folks in here and you want to make it, I just love being able to give more information to my clients, give them more value. So maybe there's a recipe email that I want to send out, and I want to send it out to 200 people. So all I have to do is go through here and collect those folks. And maybe it's everyone who's purchased. You know, I can click on this little box and it clicks everybody in that stage, or I can just go through and click the certain people. So here, all I have to do is click this. I'm going to choose this here, and then there is, not that. I got lost here, guys. Let's see, how do I do this? Okay, so it's this little arrow here. So once you've clicked these, and now you want to mass merge, or mail merge, mass merge, you're going to click this little arrow here, and you can see that 2 boxes are selected and 2 emails are extracted. That means they have emails in them. If there weren't emails in that system, it would say 2 boxes and 1 email extracted. So it's very smart. It knows how to find the emails. It doesn't matter where it's in. It could be in the notes section. It doesn't matter. As long as there's an email there, it's going to collect it. And then I'm going to continue with the mail merge, and fishing contact information. Okay, so here is where I'm going to now send them all an email. And it's just so easy. I can go in here, and maybe I got a whole bunch of how to get started people today. I don't know. And then I can say maybe I just hi there instead of hi their name, and just send. And that's going to send it to everybody in this email addresses over here. So super simple, very easy. You can program them to go out ahead of time or in the future. Let's see, go back over here. So send later. So maybe you have something that you want to send people today, and then next week, and 2 weeks from now. It's so simple. Make your life simpler. I know it seems like it could be hard now, but if you set up some processes now, it's going to make it a ton easier later, okay? And one other thing, you guys can actually import people in here. So say you have an Excel spreadsheet that you're using already. You can go over to Excel and make sure that the things that you're collecting are in correspondence to the column names. So I'm going to import all the, maybe it's just people's names to get people in there and get started with them. Maybe you reached out to 10 people today and you just wrote their names down on a piece of paper, and instead of getting in here and doing them column by column by column, or by box by box by box, you can go in here and just put it into an Excel spreadsheet and then import them in. But the column names have got to correspond with the column names in the streak itself, okay? So in the streak columns. So all I have to do is go in here and save this off. File, save as, and you're gonna wanna do it as a CSV. All right, and now you can go to wherever stage you want to import them into. So maybe it's all the people I'm connecting to. Maybe I was just connecting to a lot of people today and I want to get them in here. So we're going to do connecting, and then over here there's these little dots, import boxes from CSV. Also Google Sheets. So say maybe you're out and about and there's a big event you're at and you're just collecting people's names, and you want to be able to make sure you reach back out to these guys. Maybe it's an event that you're hosting, maybe it's a mixer or whatever, but you have a place to be able to take everybody's names, and on mobile. So that would be a good place to start too. So import boxes from CSV. I'm going to choose my file, go back to the CSV that I saved, and it's going to say we found 3 boxes matching with the columns matching. Again, if the columns don't match, they're not going to go in. So start import. You don't have to fill this part out right here, but when it's done, just click X and now they're there. Okay, so it's something super easy, super simple to get them in here. Don't spend a lot of time getting everybody in, guys. Just start today. Whatever you did today, put them in here and get it. Just start one small step and getting them in here, okay? All right, I think that is it. I hope that this helps. Be sure to, screen capture if you want, or however you want to do it. But I really hope that this helps move your business forward and keep you organized and keep those conversations moving and those communities growing. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.